Welcome, you're watching the India Development Debate. I'm Tamanna Inamdar. 19 days after the results of Maharashtra Assembly Elections were announced, the state is now under President's rule and no closer to forming a government. In fact, the state of limbo could continue for another 6 months. Here are the top developments we've seen today in a day that has seen the news changing almost from minute to minute. The governor, B.S. Koshyari, called for President's rule this afternoon, hours before a deadline given to the NCP to stake claim to form the government would have ended. This move and the fact that the governor refused an extension of time to the Shiv Sena yesterday will now be challenged in the Supreme Court by the Shiv Sena. The NCP and the Congress have met formally for the first time to decide on whether to support the Shiv Sena and form a government with them. That meeting has been inconclusive. The Shiv Sena says it has 6 months to pursue its various options now. The BJP meanwhile is in wait and watch mode.
पहले बीजेपी को बुलवाया गया, फिर शिवसेना को, उसके बाद एनसीपी को भी न्योता आया, लेकिन कांग्रेस को कहीं पे कोई भी न्योता नहीं आया या आमंत्रित नहीं किया गया।
आपस में हम पहले डिस्कस करेंगे, इश्यूज सरकार बनाने के बाद जो आएंगे इस पर बहस करेंगे और आगे सरकार बनने तक हम पहुंचेंगे तो वो स्मूथली कैसे चलेगा, इसकी नीति क्या रहेगी, इसका प्रोग्राम क्या होगा, इसमें जब तक सफाई नहीं होती तब तक हमें आगे जाना मुश्किल।
महाराष्ट्र में सरकार स्थापित करना ये कोई मजाक की बात नहीं है और खास कर भिन्न विचारधारा के पक्ष एक साथ आकर कुछ सरकार चलाना चाहते हैं तो कुछ मुद्दों पर चर्चा होनी जरूरी होती है, आवश्यक होता है।
Alright, so all bets are off and all permutations and combinations are now on the table. What happens next in Maharashtra's political game and what does President's rule mean for the state? To speak on this, I am joined today by Rashid Kidwai, political commentator, Vaibhav Purandare, senior editor of the Times of India, Alok Prasanna Kumar, senior resident fellow at the Vidhi Center for Legal Policy. I am also joined by Aishwarya Bhati, senior advocate in the Supreme Court, Madhavan Narayanan, senior journalist, also joining us on the show. Welcome to all of you and thank you for speaking with us. I'm going to come straight to the point about imposing President's rule and was the governor's take justified and valid. Aishwarya, let me come to you first because the Shiv Sena, the NCP and the Congress have all said that when there was an 8:30 p.m. deadline, what was the rush to go ahead and impose President's rule in the state? Were all options duly exhausted? Yeah, Aishwarya, that question's for you. Okay, I don't think she can hear me. Let me take that question to Alok Prasanna Kumar while we try and get Aishwarya back up. Yes.
Sure. Again, I will want to see what is the report that the governor has sent to the president. Because let's keep in mind there's a certain procedure to be followed. The governor has to send a certain material to the president. President takes a call on that basis. Now, if the governor's call was that, look, I have not gotten any positive response so far. I can't keep the, the government indefinitely suspended. That governance cannot entirely stop. So I decided to take this call. It's a fair enough call. And again, we may agree or disagree. Could have waited for a few more hours, waited for a little less time. But nobody can guarantee that even if we had waited till 8:30, that there would have been letters of immediate support given up. I mean, I was just seeing your channel just before the show started, and there is still talks about talks.
Yeah.
So when you sort of see that this is the level of uncertainty, I'm not so sure if the governor was totally wrong. We can disagree. We can say he could have given 12 more hours. He could have given 24 more hours.
Alok, you have a very good point, and this shows how fluid this entire story has also been from a journalistic perspective. Now, in hindsight, that the Congress and NCP came out and said nothing at the end of their press conference, the governor seems very justified in his call to say that I don't see a stable, government on the horizon. It may have been different if they were all standing with their letters. Yeah. Madhavan, you want to come in on that point?
Yeah.
And
I think, sorry, just to finish one point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
One sec. Sorry. The audios are overlapping. Let Alok just finish his point, then I'll come to you, Madhavan.
If it was possible to have a constitutional government in Maharashtra, we would have had one by now.
Okay. They're saying that they need time. Madhavan, how do you see the situation as it is right now?
I think the governor's decision is of an unseemly haste, reasonably unprecedented in parliamentary history. I say this with full responsibility. You see the history of coalition making in India in 1989 at the central government level, in 1996 and 98 at the central government level. And you will find that even in 1991, even Chandrasekhar government was a minority government propped up by two parties outside. And that was also entertained by the president at the national level. When you have this context and precedents, for a governor to give 48 hours to Shiv Sena and not give a chance to NCP to form an alternate government is, untenable. There is a fig leaf of the word stable, but that fig leaf is subject to probabilities of actual government formation proceedings. If you take European parliamentary history, France and Belgium have all sorts of combinations. France has even had the so-called cohabitation, which is the right and the left coming together.
Where are the letters?
This is part of parliamentary life.
No, but where are the letters?
I feel that...
Where are the letters?
The letters... Hang on. Letters... No. Let me give you more precedents there. Atal Bihari Vajpayee's government lasted only 13 days in 1996. There were no letters. So, parliamentary history is full of precedents where the president or the governor can give a chance and give time to prove it on the floor of the house.
Okay.
In this case, not even a reasonable time has been given for confabulations given the fractious nature of the house. So there has been an unseemly hurry based on parliamentary procedures and precedents, and the Supreme Court is bound to hear it. The precedents that I speak of is certain to figure in the Supreme Court
unseemly
in some
hurry
form or the other, in some principle or the other.
Madhavan says unseemly hurry. Aishwarya Bhatia, I have you back with me.
Were to be imposed.
Yes, I got your point, Madhavan. Aishwarya Bhatia, I have you back with me. Was there an unseemly hurry?
Yes, I am, Tamanna.
Was there an unseemly hurry? Ahmed Patel in his press conference said, if you've called party number 1, party number 2, party number 3, then why not call party number 4? Hamari bhi bari thi.
So, let me tell you, Tamanna, that's not how the constitutional scheme works. And people who think that it was done in unseemingly hurry are probably they're not perceiving two very strong realities which exist in this case. Today we are on day 19 after the result. And 48 hours, 24 hours, and it's not. The governor doesn't have to go down the line. You can't quote these precedents from foreign countries and even from Indian perspective without applying the facts of the case. Here is a case where the first combination that was invited to form the government, they were a pre-poll alliance. They'd fought the election together. So they get the highest priority. And after 19 days, if they're not able to form the government, now please understand what has the governor done. What does the president rule mean? There are two things, Tamanna. One is a dissolution of the assembly, and second is putting the assembly in suspended animation. When you put a assembly in suspended animation, like is the case in the present case, that means as soon as any of the parties or any of the combinations are able to conjure up the numbers, are able to to show that they can form, and this does not exist too much in a fictitious world. Floor test has to be something that has to be performed on the floor of the house, and before that, letters have become the new norm to ensure that so before somebody is called to form the government, there is a proper way or proper mechanism. We have seen parading also of legislators and members of parliament.
But as I understand it, it's left to the governor's discretion. It's left to the governor's discretion. And the question is being raised today because it's not 19 days. It's not 19 days. Chandrakant Patil spoke barely 72 hours before when he said we cannot form the government. That's when the entire process has been set into motion. For the first 10 to 14 days, nothing has moved. And why didn't then the governor start this process at that point? it seems like the BJP has got more of a chance than the others, just more time. Aishwarya.
So, Tamanna, we have to bear in mind, like I said, BJP was also the party which was in the single, not just the single biggest party, but also in a pre-poll alliance with a full majority. So,
Yes.
had the pre-poll alliance with which they had gone to vote for, if they would have been able to work out the formula or seat sharing, I mean the portfolio sharing, then everything would have worked. It was so it's wrong for anybody to see that BJP got a more
Okay.
time. We have to understand, and anyone who shows the numbers, it's only
Okay,
a
okay, no,
suspension
let me take that point
Show
to
the
Rashid
numbers,
Kidwai.
satisfy
Let
the
me take
governor,
that point to
and
Rashid
form a
Kidwai. 1
government
minute.
tomorrow. You
It's
can't put the
unfair.
state
It's
in limbo.
unfair to put BJP, the time given to BJP and the time given to Shiv Sena and NCP on the same footing, because they don't have the same numbers. BJP was part of the largest pre-poll alliance and is the single largest party. Hence, they were given more time. That is the sum and substance of what Aishwarya is arguing. Rashid Kidwai, you want to come in on that?
Yes, I think, you see, as far as the governor is concerned, this is a, grey area. He is empowered, but it is expected that he would act, impartially. In this case, this looks a very, kind of a questionable conduct. Fact of the matter is, like Article 356, like death penalty, Article 356 should be used in the rarest of rare occasions. This was not, to my wisdom, this was not a case for President's rule, but he has gone ahead and done it. Now, it is for the political parties to find a solution. This is the Congress, NCP and Shiv Sena, these are three political entities that there was very little working relationship or functional relationship between Shiv Sena and Congress, NCP. So, obviously, it would take time. Tamanna, if you were to, rent a house, then you would look for a, it is just not any vacant house will do. You will look for a, window, door, or, the kind of, sunlight, water supply, vastu, so many aspects you will see. Now, here they are getting into a, a government formation.
Yeah.
Who will be the chief minister? What is a, common
Especially
minimum
what is
program?
the vastu?
Who are the other ministers going to, come in? What is the, ratio of, ministerial birth?
Mr.
All these
Kidwai,
things need to be sorted out.
absolutely,
This
but
requires
Mr.
time.
Kidwai,
And there was no time.
No, but the thing is that this has been going on up in the air for the last 2 weeks. It's not news to Shiv Sena and NCP that they may have to come forward and support. It's not news to the NCP and the Congress that they may have to come forward and support the Shiv Sena. It's not. The call formally went yesterday, but it's not as if they hadn't heard of the possibility before. They could have moved fast if they wanted to and not given the governor an opportunity
Absolutely.
to impose president's rule, if that was the fear.
Tamanna, we have to give some allowance to how political parties work. A political party has to hear its own cadre. See, look what happened in Congress Working Committee yesterday. Sonia Gandhi was initially opposed to this. She made an ideological case for having trucks with Sena. Then the party MLAs spoke in favor of it, and then she sort of changed her stance. Now you can say this is all a facade or a kind of going through the motion or a posture. But in a life of political party, these things happen, and then a stand was taken. It was communicated. Now Mr. Pawar has played his own politics. We do not know. We don't want to dwell upon it. What was the real politics of it and all? Why he informed at 12 o'clock when he had a deadline till 8:30 today.
Exactly.
Informed governor that he needs more time. So all these things, posturing, politics is part and parcel of our system.
Okay, so no, that's an important point. Vaibhav Purandare, what did you make of the Congress NCP press conference? For me, that was the biggest puzzlement of the day, because they met and they spoke for 2 hours, and at the end they said we've decided that we will meet again to decide what to do. Even if that was the only thing on the agenda, did they need 2 hours to figure that out?
Yeah. Before that, could I just say something about President's rule?
Yes.
The term of the assembly was going to get over on November 9th. And until then, the governor, in his wisdom, correctly gave the BJP-Shiv Sena alliance time to cobble together a government because they had a handsome majority. Okay. After that, he didn't give the BJP enough time. Okay. He gave a reasonable amount of time, and within 24 hours, the chief minister told him that he's not in a position to form the government. Then he called the Shiv Sena and the Congress NCP. Now, this cannot go on indefinitely. Number two, like the lawyer on the panel said, if the assembly is in suspended animation, whenever somebody is in a position to form the government, that president's rule can be revoked even before 6 months. So what is the hindrance if president's rule is imposed? Because you cannot indefinitely just let things go on.
Right.
Because governor can also be accused of giving time to political parties for horse trading.
Exactly.
You see, so he has to take some action. And now they have 6 months. They can discuss at length
But
about their ideas.
can horse trading not take place now? I want to honestly understand, and I'm sure a lot of my viewers want to understand, what does this mean? Are we saying horse trading cannot take place now? Of course it can.
No. What I am saying is, I am saying the governor, when he's taking a decision, looks also at public perception,
Right.
whether he is allowing horse trading to happen. Now, when president's rule is imposed, the basic functions of government are not hindered, can be carried out because the president and the governor as his representative carries on all the executive functions of the state government.
Let me understand, in fact, if for the benefit of our viewers, yes, let me understand for the benefit of our viewers, and let me come to Alok Prasanna Kumar. What does President's rule actually mean for the state of Maharashtra now? Assuming, that it extends to its outermost limit of 6 months. We don't know how long it will go on for. What does it effectively, practically mean for governance in Maharashtra?
So that basically, of course, means that the state will be run from the center, that the governor, there will be specific secretaries. Oh.
Yes,
Sorry,
Alok.
was that question for me?
Yes, Alok. Yes, it is for you. Please continue.
Yeah, sure. So, so sorry, effectively, the governor is in charge of the state, and all the functions will be discharged by the governor through a group of secretaries.
Okay.
And day-to-day functioning of the government will continue to have a kind of legitimacy rather than total uncertainty. So, as we have seen in other states, the president's rule is president's rule, it is what it is. But also, I think, just to follow on from the discussion so far, effectively, I think the parties have been given 6 months to try and figure out if they want to form a government. And I don't want to describe what it will mean for Maharashtra because I don't have sufficient local context. But this is just to ensure that, so to speak, the pot is still boiling in the state, and, all the taps are running and the lights are still on. So that is to ensure that the government keeps running, even though you may not have a chief executive at the top. The record, as far as I know, around the world, I think was Belgium, and I think it might be overtaken by Northern Ireland. They have gone nearly 2 years without a government. 2 years without an elected government. So neither of these countries have totally fallen apart from what I know, or as a territory. But let's keep in mind that this is, again, very much a valid part of the democratic process.
Let's not see this discussion it's not just about keeping the lights on and the taps running. Alok, it's not just about keeping the lights on and the taps running. People have voted. People have made a choice. And now what has happened to that mandate? Rashid Kidwai wants to come in. I think we should just turn our focus. Rashid, just come in with your comments, but I want to turn the focus a little bit on what next. Now that we have these 6 months, we have this common minimum program which will be put together. If you could just comment on that.
Tamanda, you don't have to wait for 6 months. Governor rule is a license for a, for a government, for a political party that is resourceful to muster number, engineer defection, and come in the dead of a night and, form a government. And this is what, take it from me, this is what will happen. And obviously, in present circumstances, the BJP looks like a most likely beneficiary. It's just a matter of time where Congress breaks first, or NCP breaks, or a combination of it, and Mr. Fadnavis is back as Chief Minister. That is why you see there is a kind of, protest from NCP, Congress, and this is not a level playing field. These people, by the time these three parties come together, the BJP will have numbers.
But Why
We have
can't
seen it
they?
in Karnataka, we
No,
have
I
seen
mean,
it in Goa, we have seen it in Manipur, we have seen it in so many places.
Why can they not? Why? You've heard Uddhav Thackeray today. He is pretty certain he doesn't want to go back to the BJP fold unless given exactly what he wants. Why can the NCP, Congress and Shiv Sena not hammer this out and stake claim? Nothing is technically stopping them.
Tamanna, this is easier said than done. You see, this is not, it's not an easy choice. You can come together, but there are so many other factors are also playing. That is what I'm saying. I don't want to, talk things that are, beyond the realm of this discussion. You look at Sharad Pawar's, so to say, game that he played yesterday, that, or for that matter today, that at 12 o'clock he said, I need 48 hours till, and he had time till 8:40. How do you stop external pressures? There are many, enforcement agencies and others are also working. So in real politics sense, it is always advantage ruling party. When the Congress was the ruling party, they always had a, first chance or all the facilities to, engineer a majority, muster a majority. And this is the case with the BJP
Okay,
now.
so we'll wait and see. But Madhavan, they've talked about a common minimum program, and so far the point has been, can the Shiv Sena and the Congress work together? They seem very happy to work out a common minimum program.
Yes, I think this is the point I wanted to make. First of all, let me say that having seen what has happened in Karnataka and Goa, why should we let me say, let Maharashtra also have the privilege of some kind of a deal. Why should suddenly horse trading become a moral issue? Having said that, let me be very clear. NCP, Shiv Sena and Congress have a strong ideological divergence, and it is a legitimate part of democracy to arrive at a common minimum program as a way to resolve the ideological differences. And the Shiv Sena in the past few months has become less and less Hindutva oriented compared to what it was earlier, and has been oriented towards the city of Bombay, some maybe farmers issues. So there is plenty of scope to form a common minimum program along with conditionalities that may be imposed either by Congress or through NCP by the Congress. So there are lots of tactical and practical matters possible, and democracy should allow this to play out, and I do expect that to happen because there are lots of hard negotiators in both Congress and NCP. NCP is a party which is local in orientation, for all practical purposes, a regional party, and they know a lot of things that can be worked on the basis of common minimum program. And therefore, I think we cannot take a simplistic thumb rule of ideology, nor can we go to the other extreme of horse trading. There are intermediate options possible. I do see that happening.
Yeah, absolutely, Madhavan. Nothing in this process so far has been simplistic or predictable. No one saw any of this happening. Vaibhav, I'm going to come to you on the point of Sharad Pawar. And Rashid Kidwai has hinted towards it twice. What is the game of the NCP and Sharad Pawar? Why did they ask for this extension today? Did they in turn trigger this president's rule process? Is that the most dicey part of the equation right now?
No, that is for Rashid Kidwai to respond to, because he has been saying Pawar is playing a game. As far as I know, everybody is playing a game here. It's everybody has the freedom to play games also. So it's not as if somebody has been deprived of the opportunity to play games here. So if somebody is inadequate in that regard, it is that person's fault. And nobody is saying that any party is holier than thou, or that horse trading has not happened elsewhere. Okay, the point is that now they can sit and work out a common minimum program if they want. The gentleman before me said that Uddhav has not really been talking about Ayodhya in the past 6 months and focusing on the city of Mumbai, how roads are. But anyway, he almost a month and a half ago again said that the Prime Minister should bring in an ordinance, the centre should bring in an ordinance to build a temple in Ayodhya.
No, he is due to go. He is due to go. He is due to go to Ayodhya at later this month.
He said that I will now go to Ayodhya Obviously, he wasn't going there to, to work out a deal between the Congress, NCP, and the Sena. The other thing is that you cannot, the other lawyer said, you can revoke president's rule at any point in time. So one thing I would like to say about Sharad Pawar is that when we say that the governor hasn't given enough time to the Congress NCP, when they said that at the press conference, now I'm not speaking up for somebody, but it was evident to all of us political observers that when Sanjay Raut visited Sharad Pawar's residence thrice, even before the term of the assembly had expired, and when he flew to Delhi to meet Sonia Gandhi, they were not just discussing the smog in Delhi.
No, you have a point there. They knew this was coming, but they were waiting for maybe a formal announcement. But like everyone has said, they still have an opportunity to form a government. If the opportunity exists, the claims of a will exist, then why is it not happening? Clearly, there is something behind the scenes that is not visible to us today. I just want to, before we wrap this broadcast, I want to come with one more permutation and combination. Does anyone see the possibility of BJP and Shiv Sena working out something and coming back together to form the government? Is that still on the table after all that has transpired? Madhavan, you want to take a stab at that?
There are no impossibilities.
I think this is going to be difficult. There have been discussions about the grim. No, yeah, you never say never, but there are probabilities assigned based on historical as well as conceptual factors.
Yeah.
Conceptual factor right now is that people have been discussing the so-called grim trigger theory in game theory, where you sort of take it to a point of no return and wait to see the other guy blinks. I think that point has been crossed.
Yeah.
And it's going to be difficult for me to assign a probability of a significant order to that.
Okay, so you don't think it's going to happen. Put very simply, Rashid Kidwai?
Yeah.
I think it is going to be, Pawar hai to mumkin hai. It is going to be BJP with the help of NCP, whether in full go or, fragmented, truncated version of it.
Okay, so Rashid Kidwai thinks we're going to go back to the 2014 formula. BJP with the help of Sharad Pawar. Vaibhav, you want to quickly give, your sort of prediction, because it's open season, honestly. Today, no one can seriously say they know what's going to happen. So, what is your thought?
The Shiv Sena will find it extremely difficult to go back to the BJP now, because of all the drama. But you can never rule it out, because it has done so in 2014. Right. If Rashid Kidwai is talking about NCP, then we can also talk about the Sena having gone back to the BJP and formed the government in the same year. Yeah. So anything can happen. But if the Congress and NCP form the government and the Sena is a part of it, either way, whether the Sena goes to BJP or goes with Congress NCP, the Sena cuts the sorriest figure of all.
All right, that's the big takeaway. Did the Sena play a big bet and lose out today? Or will this set the path of a re-emergence? What happens to Shiv Sena from here on will be another very interesting aspect of this political scenario as it develops. As of this evening, there is no elected government in the state of Maharashtra. We are under president's rule while the four major parties figure out how to cobble together the numbers to form a government. Hope they use ethical and legal means to do this over the next few days. Thank you so much to all of you for joining us this evening on this special broadcast.